So hello everyone, welcome back to the series. So yesterday we had created a basic prompt test and then we had created a normal login where we try to test the website and then log in the username and password. Apart from that, also saw of the features that we real life like factory features and then parameterized features that we implement in our test.py. So yesterday everything was working fine, but the question is that does it look like normal automation frame? I would say no. Just very generic files we created yesterday. So let's start adding some scale framework and see how actual frame projects are being designed. So I will turn off camera. So this yesterday. So I will just this yesterday. I told about pytest.ini and also about the requirement.txt. So I've given brief detail about what these files are and why do we need file. I will again requirement.txt contains all the dependencies that are needed whoever on our project. Can call the requirements.txt by using the command pip call minus r requirement.txt. Now if the command pip install all the packages that are in our, but now as we need just limit number of packages for our projects, I've just created. So I've created this detail in another file. Just copy. Now we can just remove all the dependencies. our requirements.txt created at root folder, and it just is the detail of all the is that need for submission. Depending on framework to framework, the content of the file may change. I've tried to create this according to the framework that we will develop of the series. And if in case any other package, we will now this PyTest Selenium WebDriver Manager, PyTest HTML, list the filter. So we will see of them as we use them in the project. Now, apart from requirements.txt, is another file that we create at the root folder that helps our execution process, and that is pytest.ini. Pytest.ini, we basically store different kinds of commands and or configuration. Um, for example, suppose we have to run pytest minus v minus s always. So instead of typing that always, just show that in our pytest.ini file, and next time when we just give the command pytest, adopt pytest minus v minus s here itself. So when we are giving the command through pytest.ini, so pytest automatically knows where my tests are located and what it fetch in order to execute the framework. Let me give an example. It looks like so. Now suppose only this much, and if next time write, let's go to the CD and suppose with the pytest. When the command pytest, it will actually consider it as pytest minus v minus s, and the output that we will see equivalent to the same pytest minus v minus s of just simple pytest. So now if I did pytest, now it is 18 pytest minus the execute command, even though we have given the terminal. So what actually happening that when we are writing just pytest in terminal, gets the pytest.ini if there is any command in the ini file. Now it founds minus b minus s. Actually execute the automation framework according to this command pytest minus, and the result is both tests are passed. Both, one for Chrome browser, one for Edge browser. That's why it is in, even though we have written just one sorry, one test. Apart from, there are many other kinds of configuration that we can store in pytest.ini. Our framework simpler is also like we can store the test path and the test folder. And now when we are storing these commands, what actually is happening when we are doing just pytest? Pytest PyTest is considering, go to the test folder, go to the test folder and run the command pytest minus b minus s. So we are at the root table and we don't want to go to test folder every time we are execute storing this pytest.in, as most of the time might be working in different folder that we get in some next of minutes in the today's episode. So if we are working, suppose in results or in the log want to execute, then instead of typing and going to test folder, we can store for once the test path that we always want to run, and it will take all the test files. And so this is just simple. I'm just adding basic details of these files, but as our framework will grow in the adding new details. Yesterday we created test folder. Test folder we created two files, test.py and testlogin.py. On test.py we added a fixer, parameterized fixer for two browser Chrome, and then we created testlogin.py, added our URL, we added our username, password, and a button. And we all know what's happening when we are running the pytest command. So basically, opening the browser, it is trying to find the web element with the name, username, and entering admin. Then it is again finding the web element with the name, password, entering admin 123. Then it is trying hitting on button with the X path. This. But in real, there are lots of folders apart from test folder. Let's just create folders that exist in real automation mode, and we will on adding files in those folders as we progress. The reason behind creating folders today is that it was a sense that what kind of automation we are going to develop throughout in this. So on the very first day, I have told about the framework that we are going to follow the POM approach. POM is basically page object model approach in create a separate page file for each of the web page. Suppose we are on website that has five web pages. So we create five pages for each of the five page file for each of the pages. So in pages we will find all the web page separate files for each of the web pages that right. Apart from pages, the another most important folder is the results, where our result will be stored after the automation framework executed. Now result is very crucial because we sorry I mean HTML report or LU report, whatever we are going to use the framework will be generated in folder that we share with stakeholders or waiting. Most probably we are going to use the LU report, but for now I am just creating folder. Now we have test, we have result folder, we have pages, we have requirement.txt, we have pytest.ini. Now apart from that, we have folder. So util folder contains all the helper methods such as waits, loader, utility that we are going to use throughout the framework in multiple files, and it can be easily shared from here. Now after util we have config folder. So in real time, as the automation framework grow, we add environment specific configuration data in this. So this is the config folder. One other folder that I will create is test data. So test data is that folder from where the data for execution fetch. May use data in our framework, but still, even though we are going to use data for generating test data folder. So when we are creating this type of folder in our automation framework, the code is much simpler to understand, much simpler debug whenever any. Now I've told about pages form that we see. Even though page object model offers us many advantages, like suppose if there is any issue particular page, then we have to go to that particular page and make the changes in that file only. Page don't follow the page object model approach. There might be possible case where we have just single file and that single file has suppose that single file has 2000 lines of code. Now if yes, we want to get some, then we have to go through the 2000 lines of, and want to change, then again that's another. Now instead of writing 2000 line of code in single file, it different pages for page file for web page. Now suppose loading the dashboard, there is profile for dot pass change pass dashboard profile. We have this kind of file web pages. So what we do, instead of writing two lines of code in a single file, it separate web pages page file for each of the web page. Dashboard.py, profile.py, activity.py inside the pages folder. Now what's the benefit of creating these kind of files? Suppose in future there is change in profile page only, there is any change in the web element in the profile page, so instead of going through the 2009 code, we can just simply profile change the data. Whenever the centralized process, it's bit difficult to manage the things as it grow complex. But the same may happen with this case also. If we have like 100 of pages, then we have to create 100 of page files. That's one of the issues approach also, but then it's kind of better approach. We have to compare without form. Now I already told about the filter that we are going to use in the framework to generate the data. Apart from that, we will also see premium, and we will also see integrating AI and LLM. So when we integrate those things in our framework, the folder, new folder will be added, some new details will be added. So we will add in future, but uh, these are some of the basic automation framework structure. And now since we have added all these, we run our to. Our tests are running successfully. Just we have created today pytest.ini requirements.txt. This session was a bit short. Tomorrow we move the this data test data folder, and we will fetch the admin 123 from test data folder. and we will also add a result in the result folder, how the result is generated. uh, we will also try to move our lotators to pages. So these are some of the things that we are going to tomorrow. Now coming back to the this, I've added a detail in the repo, and I've also added some practice problem. Is want to practice the problem to have clarity and go through the repo those problems. Now, one of the important file that is in here is the readme file that we have at the folder. Readme.md file contains the root, all the detail of the project. We will add some more detail to the readme.md file. And one other file that we add is the .env file for environment configuration. Those files in the future, but for now, that's it for today. Tomorrow, with concepts, some problems, and if you have any doubt, please go through the repo. All the details will be updated in the repo. Thank you.